So,
Go, go.
Karen, sent you a clip earlier.
You
People,
did.
in case you haven't seen, well, you might have seen, you might not. It's not really a big thing that happened, but you may have seen on GMB this week, they have a new guy on their show. Well, I didn't know he was on there for
Ah,
that
he's a
long.
new guy. Okay.
Well, I didn't know if he's new, but he's the first time I've seen him in a clip. Maybe he wasn't
Who
new.
who did the guy? Is this the guy like Piers' replacement or?
No, that was Adil Ray, I think.
Hmm.
This is Richard Madley, right? He's on during the day on GMB.
Right.
I don't know if he's on at the same allocated slot, whatever. But he had a Greenpeace protester on, the lady who's in charge of it all. Her name was Miranda something. Hang on. Miranda Wheelahan. Yeah.
Mhm.
What happened is she came on the show
Mhm.
and essentially she got blindsided and she got
My God. Yeah,
ripped
yeah.
apart by this guy. Well, people say ripped apart. I personally don't
No,
think it
he
was as
was
bad as what the
aggressive, man.
media were making it out to be, but they called him like a bully and shit. And I was like, okay, if you guys can't find it, just jump onto YouTube and type in GMB um,
Mm.
Greenpeace protester, and you'll see it straight away.
Mm.
But people are accusing him of being a bully, etc. All this stuff. He was really mean to
Mm.
her. I could
Mm.
see how people think that, but I don't think it was that extreme, you know?
Because
Because okay, well, let's just recap over it. So what she was saying is the world's coming to an end shortly because of the greenhouse gases issue. Not even greenhouse gas issue, but the use of oil is too much, right? We need to cut back on the use of oil, and it
mm.
needs to be done now. So
Mm.
you can
Because
use
by
up your
2030,
yeah.
crop
By
rotation failed.
2030, there'll be
Mm.
crop. What?
Like the crop rotation is not going to be possible. As
That's
in,
the
you can't
one.
grow crops. Yeah.
Right. And she said, we have about 8 years worth of oil left.
Current stock. Yeah.
Why don't we keep that in current stock? Stop giving new permits up in new stock, and then start
Mm.
looking at alternative ways to commit to net zero that the government has said they'll do by 2050. But
Mm.
they're not doing that because they keep on authorizing new permits to go and do fracking elsewhere, basically.
Mm.
And she's basically she's trying to bring awareness to this. Now, they've
Right.
got a bad rap because these are the guys who were doing those protests where they were shutting down roads, gluing themselves to the floor, closing off like the M25 by just standing in front of the cars,
Mm.
things like that. I think I have them right in doing that, but they have done things like that. They've got a bad rap as a result of that because people are like, you're interrupting people's commute, you're being really over the top, you're not letting ambulances pass through that need to pass through for security. Some people are like, I gotta
Mm.
get to hospital, someone's really ill, all this shit. They were just like, no, taking a blanket statement of no, we're not moving. And
And the reason it came to that was
is because they tried all other means of normal protest, is what she
that
said. I don't know if
that
that's
is
true.
important. No, no, but
I don't
okay,
know if
you
it's
can
true,
you can say
but she
but
said
then
that.
there's no
And
reason
by
to just
that,
disbelieve it
hang on,
either. Go
I'll
on,
finish.
finish. Yeah,
So
yeah.
what she's saying is she went through government petitions. She wrote a letter to Parliament.
Mm.
She had there's a person who is doing a hunger strike outside Parliament at the moment that's got them
29 days. Yeah.
nowhere, and they pretty much done all the things that people can do to raise awareness of this, to bring it to the government in a polite way. Now they're taking more extreme methods. Anyway, floor's yours. Go on, go.
Yeah, so look, I think that there's no reason to disbelieve her. That's the first thing. Okay, if she's saying she's done peaceful things and she's someone who can, I think, would easily be able to show the audit trail of emails and da 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 da. Her point is this: if you're not going to pay attention and if you don't understand the severity, it kind of made me think about that film Leonardo DiCaprio did at the end of the year. Look up. Did
Don't
you look
look
up?
up.
Don't look up, right? Where people are like not understanding the severity and the gravity of the situation, right? I'm no climate expert, but the arguments she makes, even in that short clip, are quite compelling if they are true. Okay. And the thing that really annoyed me, like she clearly said, she's like, I'm not saying stop using oil. And he's like, oh, your clothes are made of oil and this and this. And I was like, mate, using so much hyperbole. But the point of the argument here is she's saying, yes, we have oil and we should use it, but we should make a meaningful, genuine effort in that 8 year period. And I don't know if 8 years is enough to transition to non-oil based fuels. I don't know that, right? But if it is, that's the point she's making. She's not saying, oh, from today we should stop using oil. She's not saying that, but he made it sound like it was
Of
that.
course he did, because what he's trying to do is
Yeah. What is he trying
he's
to do?
trying to pander to his audience, right? Because obviously all of his audience is saying we don't like this person. They've stopped us from commuting X, Y, and Z to these places. So
Mm,
inevitably, the presenter, sort of the Piers Morgan figure in the situation, he's the
yes.
antagonizer. He's like, okay, I'm going to push you on this, and I'm going to say, I'm going to try and do gotcha TV where he's like, well, all those clothes you wore, they came from fuel because they were put on the back of a car and that car got to
Yeah.
you. And she's sitting there
And she's
shaking
not
her head
disputing.
like,
She's not disputing that.
and she's sitting there shaking her head saying, you're talking to me about clothes. I'm talking to you about the world ending. There's
Yeah.
a bit of a difference here.
Yeah. That's the point. It's not the right platform clearly to have a meaningful conversation. This is the problem with it. It's inflammatory for the sake of inflammatory because they want viewership. It's about entertainment.
Views,
But it's
clicks,
like,
marketing, it works.
yeah, but it's, and I, so there's him on one side, the Asian lady who's kind of, I'd say neutral, and then the lady on the other side who kind of making a joke about it as well. It's like, oh, you come out in your summer.
This is classic TV though, isn't it? Like if you think about it,
I don't
it
watch
is
this shit clearly,
completely
but I was
classic.
like,
You've got
bloody hell.
the main antagonizer, you've got the
Yeah.
person who's come on with who is of the subject matter, the expert.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got the neutral other presenter,
Yeah.
and then you've got the other person at the other end who's the antagonizer, who's meant to be
the
the
guest.
opposite
Yeah,
view for journalistic balance, which gives
Yeah.
absolutely nothing to it. It just makes things worse and worse. So she's just pouring more fuel on the fire and mocking her in the corner. That's all it is. And it's kind of symbolic how the person who is always in the middle, or the person whose subject matter is about, is sitting in the middle. So they're getting attacked from the left and
Both
from
sides.
the right. So you're like, okay, I don't know how to deal with this because this is obviously a bit of a pressure cooker.
She needed a tag team, man. This is one of those where she needs to tag out, get somebody and get Jordan Peterson in, man. Jordan Peterson comes in, he destroys them all. That's how you want in there.
You love Jordan Peterson.
Any
episode.
Any episode to get JP in.
So sad. Just let it go.
Man, I want to meet.
I get it.
Jordan Peterson, man. But
so,
yes,
yeah,
look, really inflammatory.
Marketing. It's smart marketing because, as you said the don't look up thing. If you look at the clip I sent you, the hashtag on it was don't look up.
Well, I didn't even see that.
They're trying to piggyback off this campaign and they're taking the same approach, which is if you're watching the film Don't Look Up, what happens is Leonardo DiCaprio goes on there with, what's that chick's name? The one from Hunger Games, Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, he's there with
yes,
Jennifer Lawrence, and they're talking about how the world's going to end, and they try and raise awareness about it, thinking it's going to be a smash hit. And the presenters are like, "Yeah, it's not that bad. Cool, move on."
And they just don't get it.
That was exactly.
And they were like, "That's an interesting clip." Now to the weather.
There, and they were doing the same kind of thing here. So I think they're trying to really latch onto it. It's smart of Greenpeace to try and make the most of this situation and think, okay, it's a very clear parallel between the two different universes that have happened.
Absolutely.
One fictional, one reality.
Even if it was an ugly clip, right? Even if the person was a bully, if that then leads to great awareness of the issue, she will take that. So even though, she looked
considering the bad PR
clearly
they
looked
have,
uncomfortable, man. Like bloody hell.
Considering the bad PR they currently have, I think this will up them a little bit in the public's good books, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and she seems like one of those people where ultimately she doesn't care what the public think about it, right? So he was saying, "Oh, we got all these messages of people who are messaging in," and I'm thinking they're like, "Okay."
And he said, "No one's been on your side."
A big proportion of those people are people who are just got nothing else to do. They're the keyboard warriors. They're the people who just like to complain, jump on the bandwagon types, right? So you got them, and they don't really understand the gravity situation either, but they just want to hate on someone like, "Oh yeah, this is the problem." The people who say COVID's not real, all those people. And I'm like, okay, she doesn't care about those. If it leads to her getting some time with a real decision maker, she would have won. If something happens, even if she's not the person to do it, she's not. This clearly doesn't sound like she wants the glory. She wants the issue addressed. Whether it's her doing it, somebody else fighting the cause, doesn't matter. It's about awareness. And I thought, yeah, fair play, man. But yeah, that is just a mockery, man, of what meaningful debate should be.
Yeah, and obviously there is a small time slot to try and fit all of that into, and it's not entirely fair.
Vicky Pollard, it's a bit childish, isn't it? It's a bit childish, Vicky Pollard. I was like, bloody hell, man, this guy's
who's Vicky Pollard again? I didn't get that reference.
You ready?
Yeah, go on.
Ask me a question.
What's your name?
It's Jasmine. Yeah, but no.
Oh, right. Is that it? I see.
Lil Britain? No.
Right, got it. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like it. I didn't find it funny at all.
Oh my God, Lil Britain is like one of the funniest programs I've ever made, man.
I don't know if it was.
How old were you when you watched it?
It was the same jokes every episode.
How old were you when you watched it?
About 15, 16. Darren, it was the same jokes every episode. The first 2 or 3 episodes are funny. And then after that, I was like, it's just computer says no. It's just and I'm like, this is fucking shit. Okay, this is bottom of the barrel comedy. Like, this is shit.
Wow, bottom of the barrel.
It's not funny, man. None of it was funny.
Okay, we're gonna have to
If you judge
disagree on
that
that.
against any other normal comedy TV show, it's
Like,
so bad.
give me a bar.
Give you a bar, what? A bar of what? Comedy TV to clear?
Yeah,
Okay, the US Office. That
different
actually
type of
has
yeah,
originality. Like there
yeah,
are
but
running
yeah,
jokes,
yeah.
but they don't say it
I don't know,
every
but
episode. It's
that's
not
a
a carbon copy of
series.
every skit.
Yeah, but that's a series. I'm talking about the same type of show where it's little skits.
That is a
Like goodness,
series,
no, but it's lots of individual clips, isn't it? Like The Office is a story, man. It's like one big story. This
but
isn't
it's
one big
still a
story.
series.
No. But you're not comparing apples for apples. Like Goodness Gracious Me, for example, would be something more similar to Little Britain. It's
Yeah,
lots
but
of little
even then, you
sketches.
could contest that that's a running series as well with a long story in it.
Yeah, no. I'm just making the point that The Office is very funny, but you can't compare it with this. It's not apples for apples. I'm
Okay,
saying,
if
give me an
you,
example of something that is like that you find funny. Or there may be no example in your mind.
I don't think there is anything in my mind. Can you think of one?
Hmm.
You thought of Goodness
Goodness
Gracious
Gracious
Me? Is
Me.
that it?
Yeah.
Okay, in
That's the
which
only thing
case,
that came
Goodness
to mind.
Gracious Me is infinitely better.
Absolutely. Agree.
So I didn't think that it was good
Hmm.
comedy, but okay, I get it. That's why I didn't
So big
understand the
Vicky
Vicky
Pollard.
Pollard
Yeah.
reference.
That was the inflammatory. That's what he's trying to say. He's like, you're just being inflammatory. And the thing is, well, he didn't pick up on. He was like, if you're using a hashtag has to be easily usable, writable, rememberable. Okay. So she used a small one, was it no or stop oil now or something, whatever it was. It could be like, let's use the oil that we've already got, but let's commit to renewables. But it doesn't make any sense, man. And clearly he knows that, but he's just latching onto one or two bits of things.
Of course he is. And you have to
Just
think,
annoying.
this isn't him doing it. He's been pre-briefed. Like, if you think of the way TV works, I was listening to a podcast with James Smith, the PT
Yeah.
guy, right? He had Frankie Kagoza on. What's his name? Hang on. Frankie Frankie Kakoza on. Yeah. This is the guy who went on TV on the X Factor and he got really far in, but he couldn't sing. And basically, he came on and he was spilling all the tea about everything that happened on X Factor and how it works being on TV and all the little things they pop in your ear. And
Right.
a lot
What
of
do
it
you
is obviously scripted and it's preempted. So when you watch the TV back, you think, oh, that looks a bit like it was planned out. And the reality of it is, it is. And what this kind of shows is that it's clearly like that, where you go onto TV. Clearly, the presenter's a bit of an asshole. When the cameras are on, he turns into a different person, and then bam, he's all over you. Then afterwards, he probably goes into a different person again.
Yeah, I'm
And
wondering that what that off-air conversation was like.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
he clearly has some. He clearly has an axe to grind of some sort. But he was probably told by the TV producers, this is the person coming on. So we need you to do this. We need you to do that. We've got this person coming on. Play the dynamic out. You've got 10 minutes, go. That's pretty much how it goes, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I would not want that job because the conflict there of, what you think is right is kind of irrelevant. If you got to meet this narrative and then drop into that, God, that's just horrible, man. Like you're told to be horrible to a person.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Of
Now
course you are.
he may also be that way inclined on this issue, which I guess makes it a little bit easier. But my God, there must be some things which you clearly don't agree with, but you have to do, which, is the same for a lot of jobs, to be honest. You have to kind of put your own values aside sometimes and kind of conform to what is expected.
I guess so, but in this scenario, it seems like he was just, I don't know, maybe he's just thinking, what's a better way to get more viewer figures? I got to keep this thing, I got to keep my foot on a neck and just go for it.
Cack. Yeah.
And he did. And yeah, I guess it can be seen as bullying, but all presenters do it now when they're desperate for like viewership, aren't they? So
Why?
I guess to be inflammatory in a viral clip, it lets you go there.
Why are you saying it's not in bullying? You're saying it's not bullying because you've been told to do it, and even if it is,
I think it's not
why
bullying
is that
because when
accepted?
you go into TV like that, this scenario is played out a million times. You
No,
know
but
exactly how it's going to go.
you're saying that because it happens so much, it's normalized, therefore it's acceptable. That's
No,
what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
saying it's
So
acceptable.
what are you saying?
I'm saying I know if I was to go on a TV show right now and I go into
Yeah.
a conversation topic like that, I know something like that's going to crack off because they want to keep it stimulating for viewers to come and watch it, whether it's on demand, whether it's in the moment, whether
Yeah.
it's way down the line. There has to be some sort of dynamic there. It's similar to how have you watched the morning show on Apple?
Yeah.
It's exactly like that, where you can see all this shit behind the scenes. And I'm sure a lot of that definitely happens on TV networks. I've seen many TV network TV shows like The Newsroom that shows exactly the same scenarios play out, where you have to go on and toe the line and do X, Y, and Z. So I can see all these things playing out in real life. And if you go on a TV show of that kind, you're essentially committing to yourself, I'm going to get ruined on this TV show because they're the presenter. I have little time. They have a script that they're going to follow, and everyone around it is going to conform to it. And I'm essentially going into a lion's pit.
So are you saying that because people going onto shows have knowledge of that, they're knowingly going into that scenario, therefore
I think if you go into that scenario and you don't think you're going to get that, you're extremely
naive, right? But even if you know it's going to happen and it does happen, because you know it, therefore it's not bullying. You're saying it's the acceptable method.
I don't think the stuff he said was bullying. I think he was antagonizing. I think he was trying to get a rile out of her. I think he was doing gotcha, but I don't think it was bullying. Right.
What would in your mind would have constituted
my
bullying?
Definition and somebody else's is
exactly.
Very different.
So tell me that. What would if so you've seen the language he used and sentences, how he constructed it. What would he have to say in your mind for it to constitute bullying?
I think he'd have to probably comment on something about her looks, or maybe he'd have to comment on her demeanor, or maybe he'd have to comment on the way that she thinks, which I don't think he did sort of veer towards that, but he was pushing back against the message, not her as a person.
Right. So that's your distinction. Okay.
That's the line. Fine. He didn't push on her as a person. He pushed on the message. So that obviously gives you a get out of jail free card, because he could just come out and say, well, I was just debating the topic.
Yeah. But like you said, like towing the line, there's obviously a big spectrum of how you do it.
That's why I see that. Why do you think it's bullying?
No, I actually, that's a good differentiation. I accept your argument there.
Did you think it was at all? Like, were there any shades for you?
But that's just for me that, I guess, the environment I work in, if somebody's like that in a hospital, like microaggression for us, like all aggression is the same for us. Like, the whole zero policy thing. And obviously we don't have scenarios where we'll need to debate in this style. Like if somebody doesn't listen, like patient doesn't listen, they have capacity, you say, thank you, bye-bye. And you don't need to convince them. But I like what you said there, how you differentiate between the person and the subject matter. That is important.
I think you have to, because obviously a lot of the main headline is going to be, okay, so think of it as like a funnel. You fucking love funnels, yeah? Think of it this way. So you got the big funnel at the top, which is the big headline that happened. Then you've got the news outlets that are going to try and put that out afterwards. They have to have an inflammatory title to propel you up the funnel or down the funnel, I guess.
Indy bullies Karen into starting podcast.
Sure, let's go with that. Right? That's exactly how it is. So yeah, you're pushing people towards the article to get more and more eyes on it. It's quite genius, really, if you think about it. If you're playing the system, it's a good way of getting it done. But I don't actually know what the correct way for Greenpeace to go about things in a way now to get things across or get the message across accurately. I don't agree with the extreme methods that they're using, but I don't know what other ways you can take. It's similar to how what's that woman called? The one that came back from being held abroad for all those years.
Oh, recently. Yes, I know you're on about. It's only recently she got released. Yeah.
Nazim. No, it's not. Keep the conversation going. I'm going to look. Hang on.
So this is just like before when Indy froze out. And I actually thought you were listening the whole time. Your eyes were open. You were looking at me, and kind of like you're looking now, not really moving.
Yeah. Cheers.
But he's still there. Found it?
Nazanin. There you go. Nazanin
what was your point there?
Basically, it's similar to that, where her husband tried to do everything possible to get the message across to the government. He tried hunger strikes. He tried petitions. He tried protesting. He tried everything he could. Reality is, politics always wins. The reason why she didn't get released, and she says this herself, is because the UK owed Iran a debt and they held it in ransom until that debt was paid. And she got released when that debt was paid. That's it. It's that simple. So a lot of it boils down to politics, really. If it's in the government's interest to do that, regardless of how much coverage it's getting, they know it's cyclical. It will come and go, and they'll move on past it.
That is a very good point. That last point you made there, because you look at now, Rishi Sunak and all the thing about.
Well, we're going to come on to that in a sec, but yeah, go on.
All right, fine. I won't go into that specifically, but the whole thing of, we had this point where Boris needs to leave. Parties in number 10, no transparency. He had all this flack, votes no confidence. All this shit was being talked about. And now no one cares. Come on, mate.
I think people care, but what it comes down to is the timing of it all. right?
Yeah,
So
look,
if
the
you
war's there
if
now. Like, no,
you
no
can
one cares about that
time
shit anymore.
anything perfectly, Karen. Like if you put
Mm.
out a big headline that is completely false, and you issue a message afterwards that says, "Sorry, we were incorrect," as long as you issue it, it doesn't matter where you issue it. What
Mm.
people have a memory of is, I saw on the front page on this day that headline. They can put it on page 36 in a small little column saying, "We need to issue a reinstatement about this article. It was wrong. We shouldn't have said it. We apologize." Bam.
Mm.
No one's going to get to that page because no one sees it on the front page,
But it's been published. Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
been published.
So
So
they've done it. Yeah.
so that's similar to how things play out in the real world. You can say that all this evidence is there, but it's just like in Don't Look Up. People are like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool. Kind of happened a while ago, though, didn't it? Yeah, we should let it go." Or if you've got the media in your pocket, you can control the narrative. It's quite simple.
Yeah. When we simplify that, it is really that simple. It's exactly where the attention is. That's where people will go and people will focus.
You
But
must
yes,
have
if it's in
seen,
the government's interest, that's the key thing here.
yeah,
That is the key. And look, they may get a meaningful discussion out of it, but even that doesn't guarantee the action that they want. But if you're in that position, you really strongly believe about it, then you'll do whatever's necessary, isn't it? And I think if you've evoked all the normal channels of diplomacy,
yeah.
you do what you got to do, man. Now it's easier in the scenario of the husband. I think a lot of the public would sympathize with it a lot more, right? Whereas when this is
Yeah, yeah.
now, if you think about it, that's one husband trying to get one person back, right? This, what they're saying, is altruistic. This is like thinking about the whole world, and it could be like the end of generations, the end of the world. This is much, much bigger. So they're potentially it's about much, much more
But that's a
people.
much longer term issue to fix. So I can see why it's a longer term thing. But even then, if you look
Mm.
at the slow pace the government did for a person, do you think they're going to have a faster pace for a worldwide issue? No.
It comes back to the box, man. It's important, but is it urgent? This is the point.
You're
You like that? You
telling me
like
that they
that,
got a
baby?
grid in the government
They've got a
saying
grid,
this, and they're
man.
like, yeah, important shit, urgent shit, not important,
Yeah,
non
this is
urgent.
the important and urgent PM
Oh
increasing
my
pay.
days. Imagine that.
That's
Imagine if they're actually
really,
using that.
mate. They're just knowing it. But like in the film, when the asteroid was like, oh, we can see it now and it's coming. Oh shit, that became urgent and important,
Yeah.
right?
It's too late now, mate. You can't do
So
shit
for the
about
NG
it.
people, it's that they need whoever it is, they need to see some sort of tangible. This is the negative consequence of this, and it's real and tangible, and it's going to happen.
Just as a side note, this is how
Mm.
powerful the media is. You remember, have you seen the BBC set where they've done a full series on Rupert Murdoch and the Murdoch family and how it's run?
No, I haven't seen it, but I know of the
It's
series.
really
Yes.
good, right? And in it, I didn't know this, but the way Tony Blair came to power was
Mm.
all the newspapers that are run by Murdoch essentially got their weight behind him.
Mm.
And they jumped on board and pushed through New Labour for everybody to go and vote for them. And then as soon as Gordon Brown came in, he didn't hold the same relationship and got pushed out. And David Cameron seized the opportunity to get in Rupert Murdoch's good books. And since then, it's been the same way. Each person that's taken power from the government or in the
By the
government
press.
has had the press's backing because they've bent the knee to Rupert Murdoch. That shows you the power of just all
Media.
the main news sources. He owns a lot of the newspapers in England.
Mm.
And those that he doesn't are deemed left wing or
Yeah,
centrist
exactly.
or
Extreme
whichever.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, man. Control the media, control the narrative, and this is the whole premise of what Nazi Germany did with propaganda and censorship and control. And I think it was Goebbels. Was it Goebbels? Yeah, it's Goebbels. I think he was the minister of propaganda.
Right.
Control the narrative. You control everyone's thinking, because a lot of people, like we've said before, do not have the ability to critically appraise what they see and read and hear. Therefore, their opinion is easily swayed, and they will become. That's how the masses are formed. So yeah, it's very dangerous, man. Very dangerous.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Okay. I think that's pretty much everything out of that. You got anything else to add?
No.
No? All right.
Hmm.
Cool.